But I realized that if you are a civic dork, if you are somebody who's interested in politics, and you are an American, you should also have a birth president. Like, who was president the year that you were born? There's nothing that makes you feel older faster than figuring out who your birth president was. You can be like only 68 years old and your birth president is FDR. My birth president is Nixon. He was gone by the time I was walking, I think. Just to the end of Nixon, but still. So I'm an old person. My birth president is Nixon. And I came out as gay when I was 16 or 17. So, and I grew up in the San Francisco Bay Area, so that was 1989. Are you cheering for gay or San Francisco?
No.
Same difference. Homophobic dead grandfather used to say, the land of fruits and nuts. But so I came out in the San Francisco Bay Area in 1989, 1990, and if you know your pandemic history, that was really the nadir of the AIDS epidemic in San Francisco. So the virus was identified in the early to mid-1980s. There was AZT by 1987, but protease inhibitors, which really changed AIDS to make it a much more survivable illness, didn't come around until 1996. So coming out in 1989 and 1990, I was joining the gay community. I was thinking that these are my people. I'm identifying myself as gay and realizing this is going to be my life now, and it just felt like we were being exterminated. And so I became an AIDS activist when I was still a teenager, and just thought that would be my life, that I was trying to be part of this fight that was literally an existential fight for the community that I saw as my own. And so that's what I thought I would do with my life. And that's what I did for a long time. From 1989 until 2004, which was when I took my first full-time media job, I was an activist. I worked with the ACLU National Prisons Project, trying to desegregate HIV-positive prisoners in the Deep South. I wrote legislation as a 20-year-old or something to try to get people who were dying with HIV in prisons in California released so they could die in secure hospices who were willing to hold people in secure environments so that they could die without shackles on. So that's what I did, and that's what I thought I would do forever. And I did my doctoral dissertation on AIDS in prisons. And I did my doctoral dissertation at Oxford, and I ran out of money and didn't have a visa anymore. And I had to come back to the US, and I was looking for a place to finish my doctoral dissertation where I would not have to pay rent. And my only requirement was that I wanted to be really miserable. Because I figured if I was happy, I wouldn't get anything done, because I'd be enjoying my happiness. So my plan was to be super unhappy, so my only way out was to finish this freaking dissertation. I've lived for free, be unhappy. My two choices were my dad's best friend from the Air Force, who was a Republican lawyer in Orange County, California, who said I could work in a broom closet in his law office. That works. I'll be miserable there. Or I had friends who had opened up a gay B&B in New England. And this is the winter that I'm moving back, and they were raising dogs. I was like, well, I don't like dogs. I don't like New England. I don't like the country. That might work. And I still live there. I ended up being really happy. And I ended up being happy enough that I didn't want to get out of there quickly. And I didn't finish my dissertation for a long time. And I needed to make money to eat, and so I started taking odd jobs, and one of the oddest jobs that I took after deliveries and handyman and all this other really bad stuff was I became a sidekick on a morning zoo radio show for Beach. And then I ended up on MSNBC. So I never considered government service. I was the person who would chain themselves to the desk of people in government service. Or stop them at their golf club to try to get them to change their mind about what they were doing with prisoners or something. I saw myself as an activist, and now I see myself as a person who explains activism. But yeah, I never really wanted to run for